It's just another awesome day, sitting on the couch, rocking out to Judas Priest when suddenly I get a text message. What? There's a package to receive at the post office? I'm on my way. So I get some records. They're from a guy called Cadillac Slim. I start going through them. Oh my god, what is this? The new album by the Breadmakers? This cover looks cool. Who designed this? The drummer? It looks freaking awesome. Wow, orange vinyl? Very cool. I need to hear this record right now. How did they manage to capture such a raw sound of rhythm and blues-based rock and roll goodness? I needed to know more, so I met up with them at the pinnacle of Melbourne rock and roll dives, the Thornbury Bowls Club. Let's go.
Well, we sort of started off, Nick and I were in a band together, and Dicko the singer was in another band, and we used to play together quite a bit. We were in the Puritans and Dicko was in the Crack Jaffers, and we played with...
we had an intense rivalry like the Beatles and the Stones.
Yeah, we hated each other.
We were the Stones and they were the Beatles, so yeah.
And they'd get really aggro and we'd trash the stage when they'd usually come on after us because they were better. But where are they now?
Yeah, exactly.
Someone we played with was a guy called Gordon from Wollongong, and he was coming down to study in Melbourne to and live down here. And we decided, to start the band called the Breadmakers to make money for him. That was the idea of the title. Obviously, it's a Slim Harpo song as well, but it was to make bread for him, so he didn't have to work at a 7-Eleven or something like that while he was studying. So you can play guitar. Let's start a band. So it was kind of we had a few drinks and decided that we wanted to play that sort of 50s style swamp pop, which we kind of didn't play before that. We played more garagey stuff, I suppose, before that.
Yeah.
But with R&B kind of tinges. We sort of started trying harder to then play more of a sort of 50s style rock and roll, rockabilly, soul, and that sort of thing. So that's pretty much how it started, and that was in '89.
Correct.
When most of you kids were still at school. Found out early on that you can actually write a song and rehearse it and play it live, but there's nothing actually quite as good as that first tape, because we'd always tape our rehearsals just in case we came up with something or a part gave us another idea, and we realised that really after that first time through it was never quite as good and you were always doing a cover version of that original take. It's a long time, and I suppose how we can play for so long I sort of attribute to the fact that we we don't really see each other that much, so and we don't practice. We do a lot of gigs, and we get to see each other then, and the other important thing is we actually, we do love each other as well. So there is a strong bond. It's been there for a long, long time. But we don't sort of, I suppose, overplay in an effort to sort of, I think, not improve too much or devolve even more or overcook it, and just leave it to, I suppose, playing gigs and enjoying each other's company. So that's probably a big secret to it. The more we'd practice, the worse we'd get, I reckon. Which is why we don't practice too much.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a danger we've always had to avoid. We had a couple of nights, or one night, in my garage in Reservoir, in the tin shed garage with the roller door, keeping it real. And
in amongst the accoutrement from corduroy days.
Yeah, I think we did four new songs there or something, and then we just went and recorded them. So
we did kind of two recording sessions. One, because we don't want to have like 12 songs, we won't be able to remember them all. So, we need to write a small batch, maybe one side, and then write another side, and then record again, which is what we did. So we did the first one in, I think, January or early February, and it was like 40 degrees, 45 degrees in Mikey's upstairs.
No ventilation.
So it was kind of muscle skulls, I'm sure there was that humidity factor which actually helps the sound as well, and the strings and the speakers and all that sort of stuff to give it a more authentic sound, and it affects the tempos too, let's face it. But then the second session, then we basically write another 6 songs to put on the to finish off the album, and then that was quite a nice mild 25 degree day or something, so the tempo is a bit faster for that one.
It's not often I say this, but Scotty is actually right, that we play better when it's hot and steamy and swampy. Like when we did our residency for several years on Thursday nights at the Great Britain. How many years did we do that for?
5 or 6 or something. Yeah, quite a while.
Yeah, anyway, years. And Baz, who was the young guy that used to always be in charge there, he wasn't the owner, but he was sort of in charge when the bands were playing. He would go, "Nick, I don't know what it fucking is. Every time you guys play here, the air conditioning breaks down. And it's like hot and sweaty and boiling." And then little did he know, every time we played there, I'd go around and
pull the
the air conditioner out. And he'd be like going to the fuse box. "No, it's not the fuse. I don't know what it is."
But every Thursday night, for some reason.
But they got us back, because we got a bonus if we got 300 payers. And every Thursday night they'd go, 296 again.
So close. What was it last week?
And then we go, "But there's like 50 more people than last week." And they go, "No, the counter doesn't lie."
So we just missed a bonus.
So they were doing that to us, and we were pulling out the air conditioner. So.
Yeah.
They should buy it if they are at all interested in like rhythm and blues, because we're one of the few bands that plays that sort of style of music. We have an original Pretty Thing playing on one of the songs, so that's a huge
call to action.
So John Stacks, the bass player from the Pretty Things, is on one of the tracks.
We played at our first ever record launch with the Puritans, and we released our first release was a 10-inch, 6-song effort. And by that stage, we'd actually got in contact with him, and he agreed to come along and play harp with us at our record launch. This was in 88, 87, 88 maybe. And that was, for all of us, that was right, we can stop now, we can get hit by a bus or whatever.
But we didn't stop.
We didn't stop. We probably should have stopped.
Yeah.
While we were still ahead.
But then we made a date to drive out to his house and interview him for Ugly Things magazine. So we went out there. Did you come to that one?
No.
So there's a few of us, and we went out there, had a great time. He laid on all the beers and he played all his old blues records, and then at the end he goes, "Oh, you'd probably be interested in hearing this. It's like an acetate that we recorded that never got put out." And he pulls it out. He goes, "Oh, it's got quite a bit of marmalade on it."
It's a very English thing.
Wiping it down. Yeah, so that was them doing a version of Get Yourself Home, which the Fairies did, but Pretty Things never actually released it. So Dave Lang from Dogmeat ended up putting that out.
I got a dime, just wanna lie. I'm gonna call that girl of mine.
Now he makes the sort of Depression Blues cigar box guitars. The 4-string, basically just in one key, usually in G, and he plays one of those on the record, which is pretty cool. So hopefully recording with us will raise awareness of his fantastic craftsmanship, because they're beautiful guitars, all made from various cigar box bodies and then a neck on them, and they look unreal and sound amazing. We try and keep things as simple as we can. Like, if there's too much happening, then that's a bad sign, really, for us. If you can actually strip it back to its basic core, which is again why we don't want to practice the songs too much or overthink it. Just do what comes out naturally, and that's going to be good enough for us. There's hardly any overdubs. There's a couple of overdubs, maybe when Dicko plays some harp.
Yeah,
and he's singing at the same time, so that's hard to do unless you've got the indigenous breathing technique where you can go in and out at the same time. Crashed down 35 years into a couple of 25 words or less. He's the busiest man in rock and roll, certainly in pub rock.
Yeah. People started doing t-shirts for a while saying "Mastered by Mikey Young."
Was that just a...
Yeah, it was on a t-shirt.
That's fucking great.
I want one.
Like Lonesome Sundown.
It is. You can just get the last of the light in the background there. Spooky.